ahead with hard money lenders. Non-prime, nobody ever thought these guidelines were ever going to come back, but they're back. We can truly do a subprime loan cash out. All we have to do is document the borrower and repay the loan. Pretty simple stuff. We'll get into these in a second here. All right. As you can see, you probably can't see this, but this says 1996, and this is saying 2019. So remember the guidelines all the way up to about 2003 made sense. You could do a stated income loan with somebody that had to be self-employed. They had to have 400 pages in tax returns, but very sophisticated taxes. But they had a 20% LTV. They had extremely high credit. That loan made sense. Then we go off the reservation, and you can see this stuff, this non-agency. This is where the guidelines were whack-a-doodle-doo right here. Ladies and gentlemen, we were doing loans that borrower had a train wreck for credit, never literally showed that he never made a payment on time. W-2 wage earners doing stated income and 100% financing. That was really stupid, and obviously look what happened. Oh, to nothing. But then, look at this. These are the guidelines that make sense right here, and look at the potential that we're about to go into. Folks, if you're not doing non-agency, non-QM loans today, you will do them. But the sooner you figure this out, the more money I'm going to make them. So, the minimum down payment we want on our just miss, you can be out of a bankruptcy for 2 years and do a jumbo loan with Angel. Now, does that seem like money? What do you think? Somebody that's out of a bankruptcy 2 years ago can do $1 million loan with Angel. Do you think that's prudent? Anybody? Yes? So let me take you on a story about bankruptcy. So let's say this gentleman, your name is? Kern. Me and Kern are walking down the street. Kern and I both want to apply for a mortgage. So we apply for a mortgage. I've had a bankruptcy, let's say 2 years ago. Kern's never had a bankruptcy. So we both apply for a mortgage. Now, who is in higher risk of defaulting? Which one of us can now, after we've made our payments to our mortgage company in about a year, call bankruptcy and put my lender at stake? See, Kurt can't. I can't for another, 7 years. So who's the bigger risk? Look at all those people out there, these entrepreneurs, especially California entrepreneurs, you guys, they are like no other in America. And they're banking. You have a perfect storm with this heated economy. You've got these entrepreneurs that are risk takers. You guys are all self-employed entrepreneurs, really good, so to speak. And these people swing at the plate and they get down sometimes, but they keep getting back up. So watch these people out there buying $2, $3, $4, $5 million homes. You think they're W-2 wage earners? Folks, I'm here to tell you, they're all self-employed. And when you look at the history of a self-employed person buying a $5 million house, it's not uncommon to see not one but 2 bankruptcies in his past. Why? They're risk takers. It's okay. All right, more to come. But the potential, you guys, is enormous. Pretty excited about it. All right. This is what our average looks like. Now, we sure do subprime. We do alt-income bank statement, and we do no doc if it's an investment property. But our average FICO score is 701. So this isn't the old subprime stuff. Yeah, our average LTV is 75%, and our DTI is averaging 38%. Now, we're calculating that DTI based on bank statements. Now, are these loans performing? They are. However, we've been doing this for 6 years. What has happened to residential real estate appreciation? It's going up. So has this really been tested yet, folks? I'm here to tell you that I don't think it has. When property values go this way, that's when these loans are going to be tested. But this time around, we're documenting they can repay the loan. We're documenting that they have skin in the game. So if all went to hell in a handbasket, let's say the trifecta happened to Kern here, and the day after he gets an Angel Oak loan, he gets hit by a bus, he gets divorced, and he gets fired. So now he has no longer the ability to repay our loan. We want to see some kind of resemblance of reserves so we can go out there and get a decent realtor, list his house, and sell it and take his equity off the table instead of camping out in it and watching his equity get absorbed in foreclosure proceedings. All right, I mentioned you want to be different. Folks, talking to everybody here is, the one thing we all do the same is fund loans. The one thing we don't all do the same is market. How do you rank, how do you find your borrowers? Right here, letting people know that you have access to these programs. They already know that you can do FHA, all agency, you can do a VA loan. Everybody knows you can do that. But do they know that you can do these aggressive bank statement loans? Do they know that you can do a non-owner occupied loan, zero income documentation, just like a hard money lender, but the rates are in the 5s versus hard money in the 9s? Do they know that? Do they know that you can do an asset depletion or an asset qualifier for the person that's 62 years old, but doesn't want to do a reverse mortgage, because if they do a reverse mortgage today and their house is worth, let's say, $1 million, and literally they're getting payment by the time they're done, their house is now worth $2 million, who gets that appreciation? They want to keep that to themselves. All right, so agency fallout. You guys are all originating loans. It's coming at you fast. What do you do with the borrowers that you can't do a loan for? Kind of a rhetorical question. You want to answer that? All right, guys. All right, here's my favorite. Right here. You know what's happening last month and this month right now? You go to their mailbox, and there's their credit card statements from Christmas or the holidays. So people rack up a lot of debt over the holidays. Okay? They have a boatload of equity in their house, and now they have all this debt. And their credit's a little jacked up. Maybe they don't care about their credit. Maybe they're not watching the store that way. Maybe they're okay to have a mortgage later too. But now their credit score is low, so now they're having to pay 29.95% interest rate on that credit card debt. Let's say it's $40,000. Let's say they have a loan with cash call, non-secured, at $9,000 at a rate of 19%. And let's say they have not one but two subprime car loans at a rate of 38% interest. Okay? Their American consumer credit debt is at its all-time high in America. But so is American residential property equity. So do you see these lines intersecting? And these poor folks that are subprime do not know that there is a debt consolidation subprime loan out there that can take that credit card debt, that unsecured debt, put it into a tax-deductible mortgage loan as long as that mortgage balance is under $750,000. And then guess what happens after their credit recovers in a year or two? Their credit score goes right up. Guess what happens to you folks? You're not only getting them out of debt, saving them $1,000, $2,000 a month in cash flow, but you get a second bite of the apple, putting them into a lower rate agency loan down the road. Nobody's doing this. But you're too distracted with the low rates. But again, these programs are waiting for you. Now, remember I was talking about bank sailing? Look at this. The VA market out there, I think is 21 million Americans qualify for a VA loan. Look at how many, there's about 18 million self-employed Americans. It's almost as big as the VA market. I would argue it's bigger. And we have something known as the gig economy. What is the gig economy? Gig economy is these millennials and kids coming up. They have their W-2 job, but they got a side hustle over here. And that side hustle through the internet, they're creative, starts making a lot more money than their W-2, so then they're going to make the jump over. So America is cranking out entrepreneurs, self-employed people at a dramatic rate, unlike we've ever seen in the history of our country. So that is a huge potential. All right, here's the securitization market in non-QM or non-agency. Remember when the guidelines were crazy? We have A lot of people here remember those times. I know Deborah over there does. Then what happened? Nothing. Zero, nada. Look at the potential we're about to come into. Okay, so who here has heard of this non-QM patch? Anyone? Okay, we got one. All right. Here's the funny thing that's about to happen, you guys. And this patch is interesting. When the Frank-Dodd Act was passed back in haste, in the Frank-Dodd Act, 3,000 pages, there was 152 provisions that they didn't decide upon when that bill got passed. They said, well, with this, we're not really sure, so by this date, we're going to give you clarity. Well, the big one was what is a qualified and what is a non-qualified loan. And they had to decide that by January 10, 2014. So they decided what qualifies as a qualified mortgage and a non-qualified. But if you're a government agency, meaning FHA, Fannie and Freddie, because they're under federal receivership, that means they're under the government, they got a free pass. So all the stuff that they're doing that's non-QM, they don't have to abide by. They can exceed a back-end debt-to-income ratio at 43%. But folks, all that goes away on January 10, 2021. It goes away. So look at the potential that's going to happen here. So CoreLogic said if that patch expired in 2018, $260 billion of Fannie, Freddie, and FHA loans would have fallen into this angel product category. Guys, this is going to happen. Now, can Congress go, whoa, wait a minute, we want to extend that date a little bit? Sure, they can. But I'm here to tell you, the current administration, Congress can't decide on anything. But our current administration wants Fannie and Freddie off the federal loans. So all indications, Barry Deeb, everybody says this is going to take place. Folks, this is a game changer, and you're all going to have to get good when that happens. Okay, how can I help you guys make more money? So we're in a purchase market. This is a little delayed because, folks, we're in another crazy refinance boom, and I'm very impressed that you originators are in this room this morning instead of out there originating, sharpening the saw, and getting better at what you do. I know how busy you folks are right now. Okay, self-employed, bank statement loans, also known as alternative income. Anybody here done a bank statement loan? Show of hands. Okay, all right, so we got a pretty seasoned bank statement. Are they normally big loan amounts? Yes, they are. And I'm in a room where you folks are paid on basis points. So why not do one $3 million loan with me instead of 30 $100,000 loans with me? Huh? What's a little bit more or less work? I'm here to make you a ton of money with less grief. Then we have the foreclosure bankruptcy here. We kind of run that. That was great back in 2010, 2012, just coming off the financial meltdown with everybody with foreclosures, but we're pretty seasoned past that. Asset qualification. You have a lot of retired old people that have a lot of assets, again, that don't want to do a reverse mortgage due to what I mentioned earlier. And then we do loans for foreign nationals. Guys, folks from China, folks in other countries, they want to park their money in the United States. Why? Even though we're kind of crazy people here in America, our politics are nuts, we are still a safe haven for the rest of the world to invest in. And what better investment than residential real estate in the United States? That's a growing market. All right. This platinum is our just miss. We go to 95%. There's never any MI on these programs. And for non-QM loans, if it's owner-occupied, there is never any prepayment penalties. So again, this is for somebody 4 years out of a BK. These are smoking low rates, you guys. You can cash out. We'll even go over $500,000 on cash out on this. This is just that jumbo just miss. Again, it's hard to compete with the Chases out there, the Wells Fargo on your jumbo loans. But if the borrower has a bit of a ding in their armor and it's full doc or only 1 year tax return, this is a great solution. This is one that only requires 2 years, not 4 years, out of a foreclosure or a BK. Again, 1 year tax returns. All of our programs, by the way, are 30-year fixed. Not a 5-1, not a 7-1 arm, 30-year fixed. It's much easier for you folks out there to sell a 30-year fixed than it is to sell an arm. All right, a non-prime, this is for that a borrower that, let's just say, has jacked up credit, a ton of debt, and a ton of equity. Again, nobody's paying any attention to these folks. This is my favorite program in the history of all the mortgage that I've ever done. Again, folks, I'm going to show you how to get rich out of this niche. And guess who is one of the biggest demographics of our bank statement program? Realtors. Think about a realtor. They don't pay any taxes. Everything they do is a write-off. If they drive their car to lunch, they could potentially be showing somebody a property. They write everything off, you guys, and their income is very random. 1 month it's $30,000, then the next 2 months, who's saying, then the next month it's 12, then the next month it's 60. It's all over the place. They just can't get a traditional loan. And once you do a bank statement loan for a realtor, boy, do they become an advocate for you. And realtors are paid not on basis points, but they're paid on the value of the house. So these realtors that can find the self-employed borrower that wants to swing at a $2, $3, $4, $5 million house, this is the program that puts them in. Okay, the investor cash flow is what I refer to as our no-doc loan. If I were to pick up the Scotsman's Guide right now, I could go through it, and there's not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7 pages of hard money lenders listed. Now, why are hard money lenders having the best years in their history of their companies? Why? Because a lot of people see a great investment in buying residential real estate. Guess what? It does this, but it always goes up. So in California, you buy a rental property, not so much for the cash flow, because it's hard to make a cash flow. Properties here are very expensive, and it's hard to get the rent to equal what your mortgage payment is at an 80% loan to value. So they're buying it for future appreciation value, folks. But hard money rates are what? In the 9s, we see 8.5, 9.5, right? In the 9s. Hard money terms are 2 to 5 year balloons. Okay? Hard money lenders charge you originators out there 2 points to put your borrower into a loan. You'll charge a point, so the borrower just got whacked over the head with 3 points, and they're happy to do it. Hard money, you guys, has a place. A hard money lender doesn't need an appraisal sometimes. A hard money lender can do a loan on a property that's half of it's burnt down, the other half is still there, but they're buying it for the land value. Hard money lenders can close a loan in 2 days. But if you don't need that, hard money lenders do not document income. On this program, at 65% LTV is normally where hard money lenders stop. Angelo is just like a hard money. You don't have the debt service covered. So think about that. My rates are in the 5s. Hard money lenders are in the 9s. My terms are 30-year fixed. Hard money is 2 to 5 year balloon. Folks, as we sit in this room right now, around this hotel, all over here, are tens of thousands of rental properties. According to Stewart Title, a third of them are free and clear. Another third of them have a low coupon, low interest rate. Why? Probably owner occupied. I outgrew the house, but I kept it as rental and I moved on. But another third are financed by hard money lenders. Prime for disruption. Prime. So how do you find these hard money investors or these borrowers that are having hard money terms that have all these investment? How do you find them? Because hard money lenders, they're not rating to the agencies. They're not disclosing that this borrower is making his payments. They're hiding. If they did, you folks would pick them off. You want to know about it? Come see me at my booth after this presentation. This market is primed for disruption. Okay, for national, again, foreigners want to park money in America. How do they do it? They're buying real estate. Anybody here done a foreign national loan? Did you need an interpreter? You did? Okay, gotcha. There's websites out there for $150 that will interpret any kind of document, any language whatsoever. They're really not that hard. They're kind of scary if you've never done one, especially with somebody that doesn't speak English, but it's manageable. All right, asset qualifier. A lot of retired people have a boatload of assets that don't show the ability to repay. The last thing any lender wants to do is foreclose on somebody that's older, right? So this is the alternative right here. Again, a lot of times reverse mortgage is better than this. A lot of times they don't want a reverse mortgage because they're young, they're snappy, they're only 62, they're retired, they don't have income, they have a boatload of assets, and they want to park in that house. And again, in 10 years, that house is probably going to double in value. All right, so with Angelo, I know DeVore over there. Oh, sorry. I know DeVore over there has done a lot of business with me. How it all starts is we want to see your deal. So how do you know if you got a deal with Angelo? You can call us. Our website right here has something called a quick quote. You just simply put in the credit score, the loan amount, the LTV, housing history, and when you see that drop down, you'll see 90-day waits within the last 12 months. You're going to think we're crazy, but there is a loan, a good loan for those folks too. You put in the property type, transaction type, purchase, cash out refinance, debt consolidation, or rate and term. You put in the income documentation full, 1-year tax returns, bank statement, business or personal, occupancy type, if they're a foreign national or not, and this will give you, bam, what the rate is. If you sign up with us and you do lender paid comp, it'll show you your borrower paid comp rate, which is par, and your lender paid comp. Now we're a 2-to-1. So if you add a point to a 4% interest rate loan at Angelo, and you make it a 5% interest rate loan on your lender pay, that pays you 2 in rebate. Really simple math. But this is really a simple tool. We call it the quick quote. Okay, guys, your referral partners. Do you ever ask for a referral after you've done a loan for something? You ought to start because it's really an easy way to get business. But letting people know that you have access to these programs is how it starts, and it's really not that tough. We have a boatload of marketing for you guys, a boatload. So what happens in, I'm going to go back. Does anybody know what happens in the month of September and October for accountants? Okay, just like we're all NMLS licensed, you guys, we have to have our 8 hours of ongoing educational classes. I love, Luna or any one of these mortgage classes that will help you retain your license. Accountants don't need 1 day, but they have to have 2 days to maintain their CPA license. So what do? They come into hotel rooms just like this, and for 2 days, there's somebody up here lecturing them on the new tax code, the tax law, and it's kind of dry. But here you have a room full of accountants that are having to learn about the new tax code every year. But accountants have a lot of clients, and they have a lot of clients, especially in these coastal communities in California, that are self-employed. Now, they've all taken this call. Hey, Bob, Eric here. I just got off the phone with this loan officer, and this guy's telling me that I don't qualify for a loan. What the hell's going on with my taxes? My wife really wants to buy this house. What'd you do? Well, Eric, I got all your write-offs for you. I didn't know you wanted to buy a house, or I would have shown more income. Well, she really needs it. She really wants the house. It's a very emotional business, folks. I think selling real estate is the third most emotional business ever. I think first would be a divorce attorney. Second would be a mortuary or a guy running a funeral home. Third is a realtor dealing with these people that have to have that up. So now what I have to do to qualify for that house is I got to go amend my tax returns to show enough income. So what happens when I amend my tax returns? I pay a penalty for the taxes I didn't pay, write that check, then I got to write another check for the income I didn't document. So now here's this guy that shows no income, no income next year, no income next year, no income next year. This year shows all this income, buys a house, then next year, no income, no income, no income. That's going to flag him for this huge audit. And that's a lot of grief. But he got into that house. Think about that. But how about you guys contacting these CPA educators, paying $450 and being the afternoon coffee break guy? And coming up, you can invite me and I'll present with you in front of all these CPAs and say, hey guys, you know your clients that can't have it both ways? They can't have all those write-offs and still be able to buy that $3 million house? Ha-ha! With us, you can. Here's how. We go about it for bank statements. All these loans are ATR compliant. Just take them through that this is absolutely legal. Nobody's going to jail doing a bank statement loan. And let them know that they can be a hero to their clients by not having to amend their tax returns, which also flags that CPA for an audit as well. And their client can buy a $3 million house. Nobody's doing this. Question? Gotcha. Okay, question is, how do we calculate bank statement income? And we have a booth right over here, happy to take you through it, either business or personal. But we don't care about what checks they write out. We don't care what their balance is at the end of the month. It could be zero. All we look at is what they deposit either in their business or in their personal bank statements. That's it. There's a way, I'll get into this and then we'll move on, but I'll answer these questions at the end. So, business bank statement, we have a couple ways to go about it. First off is, the guy's got $100,000 in deposits average over the last 12 or 24 months, right? We're going to take that $100,000 on average, we're going to cut it in half. We're going to take that $50,000 and we're going to divide it either by 12 or by 24 months. If the LTV is 70% or lower, the 12 or 24 month is the same rate. If the LTV is above 70%, let's say 90%, you get a half a point better in rate if you get 24 months versus only 12. See, folks, a 2-year look back on somebody's income is a lot less risk than only getting a 1-year look back. And all these programs are risk-based priced. The higher the risk, the higher the interest. The lower the risk, the lower the risk. Great question. I'll get to those here at the end. All right. So financial planners, you guys, just simply letting them know you have access to these. And we have a boatload of flyers to help you with. Hard money lenders. Okay, why would you're the enemy to a hard money lender? Because look at your rates versus a hard money lender. You are absolutely the enemy. However, guess what? That hard money guy, when he's ballooning on a guy, and that guy's going, hey, I've got to call around and I think I can do better. Now that hard money lender can actually now do a loan with you that have much better terms. So at least they can get paid as that borrower is actually his hard money terms. Right here, builders and developers. We do a lot of builder business. Love it. I'm hitting the 10-minute. Right, okay. Business bankers, you guys. Anybody here know any contractors, construction subcontractors? Guys, they're printing money right now. Printing money. Are they in an apartment? Are they renting? Let's sell them a house. Let's put them into a bank statement loan. They write everything on. Construction business, killing it right now. All right. Be different. Walking into a realtor's office, service. Yep, everybody's got service. Everybody's got BA. Everybody's got Fannie and Freddie. Everybody can do an FHA loan. Everybody can do a term loan. Everybody can do the same kind of loans. Walk in there. They know you can do all those loans, but walk in there and say, hey, listen, there is millions of self-employed people in California, especially in East Coast communities, millions of them. Let's go sell them a bigger house. They just don't know these programs exist. Be different. Now, when I say we have a boatload of marketing, holy moly do we ever. You get signed up with us, you have access to all white label, meaning they don't say Angel Oak anywhere on you simply would brand it with your logo, with your NMLS, and they're all compliant right here. The font size, see, California is the only state that requires, when you're advertising, the NMLS font size has to match your address, your phone number, and your name font size. Why aren't it? But all these private label this, just getting the word out. If you go to a realtor's office, here's a little trick. We have this bank statement flyer. Now, if you're gritty, you take that bank statement flyer with your contact information on it, and you go into their kitchen or at their coffee bar, and you bring a roll of Scotch tape and you tape it to the refrigerator. Just do it. Realtors are in there all the time, green, and nobody looks at it. They say, oh my gosh, I got this client that's up. Boy, we can't get it all. Oh my gosh, I got to call. Now, if you're really gritty, you're going to take that flyer and you're going to go to where they go into the bathroom. And you're going to go to that bathroom stall, and you're going to tape it to the back of that bathroom stall where you have a captured audience. You laugh, but it works. You will full blown. So when you get a call and there's kind of a weird echo, you know your marketing is killing it. But it works, you guys. And these little things will make a big difference in your income. You see, I hope by listening to me today that you guys put an extra $50,000 to $100,000 in commissionable income into your bank account over the next 12 months. Come see me, do these things that I'm telling you, because these are best practices, and I will put money in your pocket. Maybe at $50,000, not a big deal. Maybe you want to drive a better car. I hope to be that catalyst that gets you into that car that you wanted to buy. That's why I'm here. All right. When you're picking, listen, 6 years ago, there were 2 of us in California doing non-agency, non-QM loans. I went to Mortgage Elements, and now there's over 108 non-QM lenders out there. Look at here today, you guys, out of the 16 vendors, 11 are non-QM lenders. Think about that. Do you think this space is exploding? It truly is. So when you're picking one, you want to pick one that's been around, because it's hard to, how do I say it? It's hard to just, when you're new into this space and have it all figured out, it's hard, you guys. You're going to stumble a little bit. But we've ironed out all those creases here at Angel Oak, and we've got a great system. Also, you want to pick somebody that is focused on non-agency, non-QM. Not somebody that does I do A paper, I do FHA, I can even do VA loans here, and I've got my non-QM product offering over here. The problem with that is that you get these underwriters that are underwriting agency, underwriting an FHA, here's a bank statement loan, oh my gosh, this is crazy, and it's hard for them to switch track like that. You want to pick somebody that's just only in this space. Ease of working. You guys, at Angel Oak, we're really not in the mortgage business. We're not. We're not in this non-agency business either. We're in the customer service. We're in the service business. And that's the fun part about it, you guys. That is. Getting a loan done in, 18, 19, 20 days when you guys thought it was going to be a 35-day escrow or something like that. That's fun. Anybody done a loan with Angel Oak in here? How was the service? He's not a plant, trust me. I do know him as a broker. So, in my senior leadership, a guy named Mike Fairman is the founder of this company, just wicked smart. You guys just savant-like smart, but extremely humble. He's just such a good guy. He's not a fan of me telling you this, but I have to. You guys, we make a ton of exceptions. We do. We make a ton of exceptions. You come to me with a borrower, and instead of $3 million, you want, $3.4 million. Our matrix will say $3 million loan amount, but we just got an approval for a 3.4. Why? The borrower had either a ton of assets, it was a low DTI, it was, we love compensating factors. Guys, if the loan makes sense to you, it's going to make sense to us. If it makes no sense to you, chances are it's not going to make sense to us either. But let's see what you got. All right, let's go into some questions. Yes, sir.
So I've been in the mortgage business as a third-party originator for 24 years.
Holy smokes.
That it's better not to work on loans you can't close. So
Yes, a lot of wisdom there.
I always had a good relationship with the lender, so if I had a question about underwriting, I could talk with an individual. I don't like the website. It's fine to get the rate as you put that down, but I like to talk with individuals. Specifically, I like to talk directly with the underwriter. That's normally not, they don't allow that. But
We allow it. Why? Because these loans need some massaging, you guys. There's something hairy about it that needs to be discussed. And not to mention, these non-QM borrowers sometimes are keeping stuff from you, keeping stuff from our underwriters, and as you go through the underwriting process, whoa, wait a minute, didn't know about that. Would have led with that one, Bob, you know? So with that said, yes, you have contact with our underwriting team, underwriter, underwriting assistant. You just can't contact them before 10 o'clock because the morning they are they're checking in conditions and underwriting new files. But you do have access to our underwriters. Makes things easier. Great question.
what about interest only loans?
We do offer IO, 30-year and 40-year IO. A 30-year IO is 10-year IO for the first year, then it goes into a full AM, and it's a quarter hit to rate. 40-year IO is 3.75 percentage hit to the rate. So we offer IO as well. Yes, question?
I just closed a bank statement loan, unfortunately not with Angel Oak, but they told me there's the client has to make a payment for 7 months. Otherwise they will get, before they can refinance into a lower rate.
Is it owner occupied?
Correct.
No, there's no prepayment penalty on that. So that lender, nope. Now, if you went lender paid comp and that borrower pays off inside of 6 months, you're going to have that lender paid comp clawed back. Why? Because the investor paid you guys up front for a loan they thought was going to carry for a certain amount of time so they could have recaptured the interest. So it's not fair to an investor to put somebody into a loan on lender paid comp that's going to run off the books quick. So what you want to do is ask your borrower, hey, what's your plan? Now, if they're going bank statement and then now they're going to file and show all sorts of income this year for 2019, you really want to think twice about going lender paid comp. You can go borrower paid comp. The borrower's paying you up front, not the lender. Great question. Yes, sir.
Do you do loans to corporation?
Do we do loans to corporations? Great question. We allow vesting in an LLC, but the note is signed by a borrower. Why? An LLC doesn't have a FICO score. So, but we do allow vesting in an LLC, and that's key to that investor cash flow or that no-doc loan, that a lot of people put their investment property into an LLC. That's an asset protection product. So we allow vesting in an LLC. Great question. Yes, sir. Love it, they ask. He's asking, hey, listen, I got the scenario. Can I have somebody look at it first before it goes into underwriting? Yes. That when I went into that quick quote, we pre-qualify we did 3.3 billion in loans in 2019. Boatload of those are bank statement loans. What we do is you give us the 1003, you send us the credit, you give us the bank statements, and we will calculate the income for you. Last thing we want, you guys, is you guys to be mulling over all these bank statements to try to determine the borrower's income. That's for us and our underwriters to do. We'd rather you guys go out there and tell people that you have access to these programs. So yes, we vet every loan up front, and then we're going to give you a pre-qualification approval. Off of that, all you do is, now it's approved, you sell your borrower, now you request disclosures. You fill out a fee sheet, and then you request disclosures from Angel Oak. What we're going to do is we're going to draft the LE based on your fee sheet and send it back to you for your approval. Why? We want you to approve the LE before we disclose to the borrower because we want to make sure you're getting paid what you wanted to get paid. If you wanted to go maybe from borrower paid comp to lender paid comp, that's the time to make that transition. Because we get one chance to this goes to the borrower, or else we have to start all over. Nobody wants to do that. So yes, we vet out every loan for you upfront within 24 hours. Bam! Great question, yes?
You talked about the difference between personal bank statement, business bank statement, and
Yes, sir. DTI, bank statement loans, we limit it to 40 front end, 50 back end. Business bank statements, okay? Borrower's got a business, you have to be self-employed for at least 2 years. We're going to take, as I mentioned, let's just say 12 months of those business bank statements, $100,000 on average per month, cut it in half, then we're going to divide that by 12. That's the income we're going to put on that pre-qual approval and send it back to you. Now, what are we looking for in all bank statements? We're looking to see if the borrower has a grasp on their business. What I mean by that is that borrower bouncing checks all over Kingdom Come? We just had a borrower within the last 12 months had 73 NSFs. And guess what? He's charged $35 per. So we're looking at this guy going, we're not sure you really got a grip on what's going on. Why didn't he get a backstop where the bank can have, listen, overdraft protection? Why didn't he do this? So with that, we're going to allow a few bounce checks, about 6 per 12 months. Over that, we need an exception and find out why. So that's business bank statements. But let's say 50% of the deposits still are not getting us under 40 front or 50 back end. Angel Oak will allow up to 65% of what they deposit in their business account if we can get just a statement from a CPA or their certified bookkeeper stating, hey, Eric Morgenson's company, I've been his accountant for over the last 12 months, is seeing approximately 35% expense ratio to his business. So now we'll allow 65%. Now, if that accountant said Eric's expense ratio is only 10%, we're still only going to max 65% of what they deposit in their business checking account. Good? Now personal. Personal is, you got 3 ways to go. If I'm a sole proprietor, like a realtor, I have no overhead whatsoever, and I'm working out of my house, we'll allow 85% of the deposits into my personal checking account. If I have a business over here, I have a business account, and I'm paying myself, then I just need to show 1 or 2 months of a business bank statement, 12 months of a personal bank statement, and we'll allow 100% of deposits into my personal checking account. Why? That guy's paying himself, okay? So on top of that, if I have a pretty big business, and I've never gotten around to incorporating, never gotten around to really corporate governance, never gotten around to even getting a business bank statement, and it's all coming through my personal bank statements, because I'm out there growing a company, I'm not really that interested in calling banking, so it's all coming into me personally, and I have employees, then we'll allow 50% similar to a business bank statement. And I can unpack that for you over at my booth if anybody's interested. Great question. I think I only have time for no more questions. Come see us over at the booth. You guys, we're here to make you money or have you drive the car you wanted to drive.
Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Morgan.